And then someone wanted to know how similar is Finnish to English? And they wanted you to start off by listing like what languages you're familiar with, or maybe what languages you speak, and then what your experience has been like absorbing Finnish.
So Finnish is a completely different language from English. It comes from a completely different linguistic background. English.
Sorry, I have an itch. You can continue.
English is a well, firstly, it's a Germanic language, and it's part of the Indo-European language family. Finland, or Finnish, is part of the Finno-Ugric language family, and it's very similar to Estonian.
Yeah.
And it has some linguistic similarities with Hungarian, but it's very unique because like these three countries are the only countries that speak Finno-Ugric languages.
Yeah.
Whereas most of Europe, the languages come from the Indo-European language family, so it is very different. But I found it quite interesting. Like I feel like how the language works in Finnish, or as far as I know, or like as much as I know about Finnish, it was more similar to Korean than to English. Like it felt similar, like the logic of the grammar and stuff like that. It felt a little bit more similar to Korean. I speak Korean and English fluently, or at least I would hope so. And then I studied Japanese for like the majority of my schooling years back in Thailand. I grew up in Thailand, so I speak kind of like survival Thai, but I didn't really, like, it's a shame, but I didn't really, actually manage to learn the language properly. I do speak like a little bit. I'm able to understand better than I speak Thai. I also studied a little bit of German in university. Yeah, and then like I took like a semester or two of like introductory Finnish when I first moved to Finland.
So you would say out of all those languages, Korean had the most like similarity?
Korean and Japanese.
Like grammar-wise, it had some...
Maybe, I don't know. It's just probably something...
in your own head?
Yeah. But then I did hear that, like, pronunciation-wise, Japanese is kind of similar to Finnish. And it's also, like, a lot of people say, at least English people, or English-speaking people say that it's nice how Finnish is pronounced, how it's written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you read the word...
Yeah, as opposed to English. Or maybe it's non-English speakers who would say that it's better that Finnish is written or pronounced how it's written, because they would have difficulties in English where,
So then, the big worry of a lot of people is that Finnish grammar is very impossible and very difficult. So how did you, what's your thoughts on that when you were trying to learn Finnish?
I don't know, like with any languages, I think it's kind of, I wouldn't say a waste of time, but if you try to learn it like really, really systematically from the books, it's going to be difficult. I think the best way is to just sort of immerse yourself and like maybe try to read like children's books, or like watch like very simple Finnish, maybe children's TV shows or movies. Try to familiarize yourself with the language, and then like you'll keep hearing the same things over and over again and they'll stick. And then maybe like, if you make Finnish friends here, try and get them to teach you. Like try and like pay attention and listen to people speaking like colloquially. Yeah, because I think if you try to just learn it from the books, and that's just like a lot of Finnish people complain that when they try to speak to someone who've like just learned Finnish from books, then like it's kind of weird because like that's not how people would normally speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't you do like language exchanges sometimes?
Yeah. I had a Finnish friend who knew a little bit of Korean, so like we did like a little language exchange thing where he would teach me some Finnish and I would teach him some Korean.
Yeah. So that's another thing you can do. So then another question was just asking, where would you study Finnish? So basically you took some courses at school, so the university will probably offer some things. You can find Finnish friends to have language exchange with, and then like just listen. Radio, music, TV.
It's like of course it's always going to be a good idea to take like a course to get the foundations, to get the basic knowledge of the language. Like that's always a good idea. But like if you just simply rely on that, I don't think it's really going to improve.
And then what would you say are a couple of like useful phrases or words that you would need to get by? Or like that you think would be a good thing to know?
Oh, there's the one that I always say.
Which one?
Ei tarvi kuittia.
Ei tarvi kuittia.
Ei tarvi kuittia. It means like no receipt.
Yeah, when you're at the store.
Yeah.
And they'll ask like kuittia, and then you just say ei tarvi or something.
Yeah. I think that's what I've probably said, like the Finnish phrase I've probably said the most while I was in Finland.
Okay.
Probably.